Welcome to Who Am I as a Leader? Journey Lines. My name is Disha Jain, and I'm the Managing Director of Principal Preparation. Today's objectives are leaders will be able to name the purpose of Journey Lines. Leaders will be able to create a visual story of their past that has led them to today. And leaders will be able to use Journey Lines as a way to build relationships with others. The purpose of a journey line is twofold. First, a journey line is meant to document a life story of ups and downs, moments to celebration, and challenges faced along the way to who you are now. The sharing of a journey line helps your teammates understand what has shaped your core beliefs. In other words, those behaviors and perspectives that often reveal themselves in the workplace every day. There are a few steps to create a journey line. Step 1. You must first reflect back on the personal and professional moments in your life, both the ups and the downs, that had the most profound impact on shaping who you have become as an individual. Then, on a sheet of paper or using PowerPoint, you would draw an X and a Y axis chart using positive and negative symbols so that your x-axis represents time, your positive and negative on your y represents your emotions. Step 3 would be to capture your moments from left to right based on time, and then up and down based on your positive and negative emotions. Step 4, you would connect all of these moments with a line. Next, I'm going to show you a sample journey line. Here is a sample journey line that I have created for myself. This journey line is on an X and Y axis. It starts from the most past date to the most present date, and then it goes up and down in various times in order to show how I was feeling during that time. While I go through my sample journey line, I would love for you in the forum to type in ways that you might connect with my journey or something that you have learned that has really struck you. So my journey begins when I was born. I was born in Prince George's County, Maryland, to a very Indian family. I joke this shirt has like acute angles on it. I joke because I think I learned my multiplication facts before anything else. And, I was born, and so that was a really great thing. But then you can see that my emotions start going down, and there's this little tiffin box here. I grew up in a very Indian household. My family spoke in Hindi all the time. We watched Indian movies. It was the thing to do. My parents were just super scared of us losing our Indian culture. And it was also the only way I could communicate with my grandmothers because they did not speak any English. I always never understood like why we were so different. And so going to school, we would eat Indian food, and I was called the curry kid. And it just never felt good. And so I was really having a hard time with my identity growing up, and what it meant. Until I started finding things that I really loved. Basketball was a huge part of what I really loved to do, and started finding some groups of friends, and found a way to connect. And then I had a teacher in middle school who helped me get into a magnet program at my high school, which really revolutionized my life. And that's why you can kind of see I moved up into the positive. I was in a zip code of schools that did not have a very high bar. And my parents were very unexperienced when it came to our educational system because, their thing was we're in America, we are in school, and so this is it, right? What they didn't understand is the zip code that we live in didn't have the best schools until one of my teachers was able to help me get into a really awesome school. This school, I learned that I was super behind because the other students in my class were coming from schools that were really high performing. But, I worked hard, I graduated, and I went to my dream school, and I was able to get into Penn State. But then what I quickly realized is that, man, I was not set up for success. And you can see there's a big decline here. And it took a lot for me to be able to graduate. And while I was graduating, I was meant to go to medical school. It was my parents' hopes and dreams. It's, we make fun in Indian communities, you're either a doctor, engineer, or lawyer, or it doesn't matter. And so, unfortunately, my family was not very happy when I decided not to become a doctor. I also had no idea what I was going to do with my life. I had some friends who were talking about this thing called Teach for America back in 2006. And so, I applied. I got very lucky and I was able to join the Corps. And after I joined the Corps, I just fell in love with teaching. And year after year, I kept teaching. And then I had a really unique opportunity to go to New Orleans to start working at a charter school. And it was really nice working in New Orleans because I worked in schools that looked very similar to the schools I went to school in when I was a child. But as you can see, I kind of had some ups and downs while I was in New Orleans. I came out at the age of 26, and is a part of the identity work that I was doing. And my mom also passed away, and that was really, really tough on me because all I wanted to do was make her proud, and never had the opportunity to be able to be my full self with her. But then, in New Orleans, I also met my partner, Rebecca, and which was great, and she accepted me, and it was just an incredible ride. And while we may not be together now, she really helped me build into my identity, and I will forever be thankful to her for that, and we will always be friends. And I really end up in a really high note because from New Orleans, I was able to come to IDEA. Texas was calling me with my family, and I got to turn around Montopolis Academy and continue my journey here at IDEA. And I think, I am who I am because of my immigrant background. This idea of, your zip code does not determine your trajectory, and that you can work on your identity no matter how old you are. And that really helps ground the work that I do and why I do what I do. Thank you all very much for listening to my journey. And so our bottom line here is that high-performing teams occur when a group of individuals are willing to be vulnerable, establish trust, and work together in support of a goal that is more important than their individual accomplishments. And this can only happen if we can see each other. And so your next steps are going to be to create your journey line. You're going to add it to your exit ticket. However, I will say if you're having trouble entering it into the system, do not worry. That is more for us to be able to share it with others. We want you to put it in the forum so we can start building a cohort of just people that we know. But what you do want to do is save it onto your computer so you can bring it to the webinar titled Onboarding with Your Mental Principal, Building Relationships. Thank you all very much for participating in our Journey Line session.